Hey there, you're listening to Genoa's Arcs, a self-reflective podcast exploring transformation with purpose, honoring growth and connection through awareness and presence. This is your host, Genoa K. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. This episode contains reflections on trauma and emotional recovery. It is not intended as a substitute for professional advice. Please trust yourself and seek support as needed from a licensed mental health or healthcare provider. The views expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect those of any guests, sponsors, or platform providers. As the creator and host of this podcast, I believe that service and sustainability go hand in hand. The idea that serving others must mean depleting yourself or working for free is a myth I choose to not perpetuate. While much of this content is freely available, you may hear sponsored messages or occasional requests for financial support, all of which help to keep this space alive and well. Some content may be offered through a paywall as a way to honor the time, energy, and skill it took to create them. If access to paid content is a barrier for you, please visit the show notes for more information. This is the 8th episode of a storytelling series within this podcast called The 6 Arcs, a Spiral Journey into Emotional Recovery. Each arc contains 10 episodes and traces a story of emotional recovery, reflecting the non-linear, often turbulent nature of finding the way back to yourself. Arc 1, Reclaiming Innocence, is where it all begins. The first moment you realize something is stirring. It's about awakening and making contact with the parts of us that trauma buried, distorted, and silenced. It's the beginning of a return to play, curiosity, creativity, and to the deeper truth of who we are beneath the coping and despair. This is the phase where our inner world doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It tiptoes in, often disguised as a question. Remember me? So far, we've explored the meaning of innocence, how it's been distorted, and how we begin to reclaim it through creativity, play, and connection to the inner child. We've also explored the reality of the messy, non-linear journey of emotional recovery and learning to protect what's been reclaimed. Then we dived into how wearing masks can cause us to disconnect from ourselves and others. In this episode, we're exploring something so many of us search for, especially after loss, trauma, or transition, and that's purpose. But not the kind that comes from productivity or performance, the kind that's rooted in who you've always been, before the pain, before the roles, before the noise. Let's explore how innocence and wonder can actually bring us closer to our true purpose. Part 1. Why your purpose might be hidden in your earliest joys. Before the trauma, before the masks, before the pressure to be useful or needed or good, what did you love? What did you play at as a child? What lit you up? What made time disappear? For many of us, our earliest experiences of joy are actually breadcrumbs to our purpose, not because they need to become a career or a business, but because they show us who we are at our most authentic, curious, present, unashamed, connected, innocent. When I started revisiting those early loves, making things, writing, storytelling, singing, I didn't do it with a goal in mind. I did it to feel alive again, and somewhere in that process, a sense of purpose started to emerge, quietly, naturally. Part 2. The link between wonder, service, and fulfillment. Wonder is a gateway to purpose, because when we're open to wonder, we're also open to possibility, to seeing that life doesn't have to be only about survival. It can be about meaning, about growth, about service. When you reclaim your innocence, you begin to see yourself not just as someone who's been hurt, but as someone who has something to give, something real, something earned through deep work. And that's where fulfillment lives, not in grand gestures, not in being everything to everyone, but in serving from a place of clarity and care, in offering the world what only you can offer, because you've done the work to remember who you are. Part 3. Purpose as a process, not a destination. Let me say this clearly. Purpose is not a job title. It's not a 5-year plan. It's not something you chase. It's something you inhabit, one choice at a time. It unfolds, it evolves, it deepens, and often it shows up in the smallest of ways. A conversation that changes somebody's day, a creative project that helps you process something painful, a kind of boundary that makes someone else feel safe enough to start healing too. Purpose doesn't have to be huge to be real. It just has to be yours. Part 4, Closing Reflection. If you've felt lost in your healing journey, if you've wondered whether anything good can come out of the pain you've endured, let this episode be a reminder. Your purpose doesn't have to be found, it only has to be remembered. And the path to remembering begins with reclaiming your softness, your wonder, your voice. Thank you for walking this path with me. I'm so glad you're here. If you've found value in today's episode and you'd like to support the ongoing creation of this space, you'll find ways to do so in the show notes. Support here is always optional, but also deeply appreciated. On the next episode, we'll talk about how reclaiming innocence changes our relationships, how emotional recovery affects how we love, connect, and allow ourselves to be seen. Until next time, take good care. Genoa's Arcs is written, recorded, and produced by Genoa K. Original music composed and produced by Genoa K.